Presidency rejects European Union reports on 2023 general election as opposition parties support. Civil defense rescues 25-year lady detained in a room for 5 years by her dad. Israeli strikes on Palestinian Jenin camp in West Bank. Today is Monday, 15th of Zulhijjah, 1444, after the hijrah of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, which is equivalent to 3rd of July 2023. I'm Khadija Nulamin with the Nelson 4. The Nigerian Labour Congress is set to engage President Bola Tinubu on the agitation for extension of civil servant retirement age to 65 years. The National President, NLC, Joe Ajiru, told newsmen yesterday that Labour was not relenting on the agitation, which started under the administration of former President Muhammad Buhari. News Agency of Nigeria NAN report that the NLC had, during the 2023 May Day celebrations, appealed to former President Muhammad Buhari to extend the retirement age for civil servants. But then Minister of State for Labour, Festus Keyamo, told our correspondent that Buhari, in the twilight of his administration, will not be able to deal with the matter. Already, teachers under the employment of government at all levels are enjoying the implementation of a new retirement age. The presidency yesterday rejected a report by the European Union Electoral Observer Mission on the 2023 general elections, describing it as a product of a poorly done desk job that relied heavily on field persons. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said he had many reasons to believe the jaundiced report, based on the views of fewer than 50 observers, was to merely sustain the same premature denunciatory stance contained in EU's preliminary report released in March. This was contained in a statement issued by Special Advisor to the President on Special Duties, Communications and Strategy, Mr. Dele Alake. The President in the statement noted that some notable bodies such as the Nigeria Bar Association, NBA, and even the Electoral Umpire, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, had commended the conduct and outcome of the election. In another story, standard barriers of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 election, Atiku Abubakar and his Labour Party counterpart, Peter Obi, have lampooned the presidency for rejecting the European Union final report on the February 25th presidential election. The EU Observer Mission in its report faulted the polls owing to enduring systematic weaknesses. The election outcome has been disputed by the PDP and the LP and their candidate, who alleged that the polls were not credible. The chief observer of the EU Election Observation Mission, Barry Andrews, had in a press briefing last week noted that the election exposed enduring systematic weaknesses and therefore signaled a need for further legal and operational reforms to enhance transparency, inclusiveness, and accountability. He said the shortcomings in the law and electoral administration hindered the conduct of well-run and inclusive elections and damaged trust in the Independent National Electoral Commission. Daredevil gunmen have stormed a Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG, parish in Abule-Ori, Obafemi Owode local government area of Ogun, killing the pastor and abducting 7 members of the church. Soji Gonzalo, the commander Ogun State source, Safe Cops confirmed the incident to journalists in Abeokuta yesterday. Mr. Gonzalo explained that men of the cops, however, rescued the 7 church members and killed one of the kidnappers during a rescue operation. Mr. Gonzalo disclosed that the 7 victims were rescued unhurt, while one of the kidnappers was killed, saying many of the suspects sustained serious injury during a fire exchange. He said that a joint team of the police and Safe Cops were already after the fleeing kidnappers to capture them alive. The commander said that the body of the dead kidnapper had been deposited in a nearby morgue. The governor of Kano, Abba Yusuf, has assured residents that the Hasia Biopediatric Hospital will resume work in a fortnight. The facility was one of the recovered public structures allocated to individuals by the immediate past Abdullahi Ganduje administration in the state. This is contained in a statement issued by his acting spokesman, Hisham Habib, in Kano. Mr. Yusuf said this in a Kano while receiving the Emir of Gaya, Aliyu Abdulkadir, who paid him a Salah homage. He directed the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Abakar Labaram, to work round the clock to ensure the smooth restoration of the health center. The governor assured that the present administration will continue to prioritize healthcare services to ensure smooth policy delivery across the state. You are listening to the news from the studio of Sawaba. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The Jigawa state government said it has purchased 2 dredging machines and also commenced the dredging of Hadija River to clear the waterway and prevent overflowing of water. This development was initiated to prevent future occurrence of flood after the state experienced severe flooding last year. The Executive Secretary of Jigawa State Emergency Management Agency, Yusuf Sani Babura, confirmed this while responding to Sawaba on Jigawa State Flood Preparedness Project, calling that news agency of Nigeria in an investigation published on June 26, 2023, detailed what Jigawa state government is doing to mitigate flooding and also highlighted some of the challenges faced by residents of the flood-prone communities. Reacting to the impact of flood, Barbara said the government is working day and night dredging the river to remove the grasses blocking the waterways. Barbara accused the residents of refusing to move to highlands despite financial support from the state government. After spending agonizing 5 solid years in a locked-up room by her father, officers and men of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps Jigawa State Command have rescued a 25-year-old lady named Withheld from further detention and dehumanizing conditions. Her freedom from the captivity of her father followed a bold move by a 50-year-old Safia Mustafa, who raised the alarm that eventually led to her rescue of the poor lady that had been in captivity when she clocked 20 years. Mrs. Safia Mustafa, who moved for the rescue of the lady, lived some few distance from the residence of the father of the detained lady. It was also gathered that a human rights activist, Mr. Musbahu Basirka, was also part of the first respondent to the distress call raised for the rescue of the victim. Speaking on the unfortunate development and the eventual rescue of the victim, the public relations officer of the Nigeria Civil Defense Chicago Command, Adamu Shehu, said that the father of the teen had her trapped in a walking nightmare that was difficult to believe. Senator Muhammad Danjuma Goje, representing Gombe Central Senatorial District yesterday, flagged off the distribution of 12 trucks containing 7,800 bags of NPK fertilizer to farmers. Goje flagged off the distribution of the commodity worth over 200 million naira at his Gombe residence free of charge to people of his constituency. He explained that the beneficiaries include stakeholders at zonal local government, wards, 869 political units, religious leaders, women and youth groups, as well as farmers from across Ako, Yamautu and Deba local government areas of the Gombe Central Zone. Represented by his aide Alhaji Abakar Adamu, the senator said 13 zonal stakeholders from the 2 LGAs will receive 10 bags each. Governor Bala Muhammad of Bauchi State has distributed 300 Saudi riyals to each of the more than 3,000 Bauchi pilgrims in the Holy Land of Mecca. This is contained in a statement issued by the Special Advisor on Media and Publicity to the Governor, Mukhtar Gidadu, yesterday in Bauchi. Gidadu said that the governor made the donation when he visited Bauchi camp in the Holy Land to interact with the pilgrims. The news agency of Nigeria reported that 300 Saudi riyals is equivalent to 75,000 naira. Mr. Gidadu said that the gesture by the governor was to complement the expenses incurred by the pilgrims during their stay in the Holy Land. He said that the governor, during the visit to the pilgrims' tent in Muna, appreciated them for their good conduct in Saudi Arabia. The Israeli army has launched a massive military operation on the Jenin camp in the north of the occupied West Bank. It started with the multiple drone strikes. Videos published on social media showed smoke rising from a residential block The Palestinian Health Ministry said at least 3 Palestinians were killed and more than 20 others wounded in the ongoing raid. The Israel Defense Forces said they were striking terrorist infrastructure in the Jenin area. The Jenin Battalion, a military umbrella that includes armed men from Palestinian groups Fatah, Hamas, and Islamic Jihad, said they will fight the occupation forces until the last breath and bullet, and we work together and unified from all factions and military formations. Dozens of armed masked Palestinians were deployed in the alleys of the camp. This is the end of the news, but before I go, recap of the major story. You heard presidency reject European Union report on 2023 general election as opposition parties support. Civil defense rescues 25 years lady detained in a room for 5 years by her dad. Israeli strikes on Palestinian Jenin camp in West Bank. On behalf of the news department, our editor Muhammad Suleiman Yobe, I am Khadija Nurlemine Liman saying thanks for listening.